So, okay, here we go. Oh, no, I don't want to leave the meeting. Hold on. Okay, okay. So, I had to get a lead, right? I had to understand where this was coming from. So this lead source actually came from my mom. She was at an auction and a lady was complaining about a mobile home that had been kind of destroyed by some family. And my mom probably tells people that I buy houses and mobile homes more than I tell people I buy houses and mobile homes. So I'm in competition with her to see who can win. But luckily she does that because every once in a while, she will get a lead for us because she works in auctions. She kind of resells antiques and coins and things like that. And that is a perfect market or niche for people who kind of come in. She comes in a lot of contact with people who need to sell properties. So she told the lady said she was interested in selling quickly. And she called me. So that is not the only way to get deals. Obviously, those don't come across like, I can't get one deal a month, just all those conversations. So some other ways, if you haven't heard of these, are driving for dollars. And it's literally what it means. You get in your car, you drive for dollars, you look for distressed properties. What can distressed properties be? If you see high grass, a door kicked in, broken windows, trash cans out when it's not on delivery day, junk in the yard, junk in the house. If you can see through the house, if there are no curtains or anything, it just looks like it's vacant. Those are good properties. You can also do bandit signs. You can literally just order some blank signs and say, I buy houses with your number. It's great to get a Google number. So somebody's not calling your personal phone, but you can literally, in fact, this wasn't planned. I don't know if you can see this because I'm not, but this is literally what you can do. Okay, it's really that easy as forms of marketing. Okay, it's really just buy the signs, marker, or a pen, we buy houses, phone number. Okay, so there are some mobile home parks around here that I've been driving for dollars for, and I see many mobile home parks. Now, I respect the mobile home park owner. So I call and say, hey, I'm going to be driving through your neighborhood, yada, yada, yada. Do you mind if I work with you and probably renovate some properties? No. Okay, fine then. I'll take that no, and I'll plop a sign right outside your mobile home community, at a corner of a street or somewhere, and hopefully somebody will call me. So these are all different ways to get leads. After you drive for dollars, you can cold call. So you skip trace, you look up the person's address, and there are various ways to do that. You can do it for free or you can pay for it. All you have to do is look up cold calling, Google it, and you have a plethora of sites to go through. Call the person and say, hey, this is Jim. Are you interested in selling your house? You might get cursed out. You might get a yes. You might have a conversation. It could go anyway. But if you call enough and consistently enough, then 9 times out of 10, eventually you will get a yes, I'm ready to sell, because these houses usually depict motivation in the seller. I want to sell this house. It's vacant. I'm tired of paying taxes. It's messed up. Somebody destroyed it. There's some kind of motivation normally in the line of some of these houses. Not everyone, but you're going to catch one eventually. And the easiest way, in my opinion, to do it is just Facebook marketing, Craigslist. So you look on Facebook Market, somebody posts something. Those might already be on sale by a wholesaler. If anybody has a question what a wholesaler is, I can explain that. I don't know how advanced the group is, so. Okay,
Yeah,
I can continue.
Yeah. It's usually mixed from entry level, brand new investor to, done a few deals and, working on building up their portfolio.
Okay. Our Craigslist. Craigslist is a great place to see places for rent that might not look so great. If you see those, the one picture ads usually means something's wrong with the property. So you might want to just email them or, call them and just say, hey, Are you interested in selling your property? And again, always mention, I buy houses, we buy houses, however you want to put it. The first thing out your mouth when you meet someone, or very soon after that, should be, yeah, I buy real estate. I do real estate. Just start a conversation. You never know what can happen. Any questions?
Well, thanks to mom for being a great marketer.
Thank you.
And that's actually one thing that, I think very underrated way of marketing is the word of mouth. And not just with our immediate relatives, but not just with our immediate family, but of course our friends and coworkers. Even if they're not the one who's, sending the leads, but they talk, right? If they know that you're actually in real estate, they at least somehow in their network they'll be able to send some lead your way.
Definitely. All right, so the property details, obviously it was a mobile home. It was on a residential lot. It was not detitled. And for those who are not familiar with what detitle means, is if a mobile home is not detitled, that means it is not attached to the land by deed. You can literally just move it off. You can pick it up on a truck or hook it up to a truck and roll it off. But once it is detitled, that means it belongs to the property. It's fixed like a house to the property legally. You cannot move it. So this one was not detitled. Usually detitled properties have a little bit more value because they're considered more of a home. So that is an important piece of information to ask depending on what area you live in. And you want to know that for the contract, because if a house is not detitled or a mobile home is not detitled and you don't include it in the right verbiage, they can and move the mobile home because it's not a piece of the property. So make sure you have a good contract. We'll get to that later. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 980 square feet. Very distressed. You'll see that later. It was 0.6 acres. The lot value was $16,000 with a paved driveway and storage shed. A new subdivision less than a mile away on the same road. Literally, we're putting the roads in and the utilities, and the asking price was $19,500. I did not even have to negotiate on this. It was pretty cut and dry. The price was good. I said, okay, I'll walk the property. I knew I might have to negotiate depending on the condition, but this one ended up being just cut and dry. Great price. And I want to say that because of the motivation. She knew that she wanted to get rid of this property very badly. So the motivation was there. She's like, I want to set at a price where I can get rid of it. So first thing I do is I go to my real estate agent. If you do not have a relationship with a real estate agent, get one. I love broker price opinions because they give me a detailed price per square foot and average comp for the market. So I developed a good relationship. And anytime I send her an address, within 24 hours, she'll have a broker price opinion there. So these were a couple of properties. As you can see, there's a wide range for the after repair value or the broker price opinion, which means I need to find a property that looks just like that one and see what it's sold for, or one that's similar to that one and has been remodeled, because again, this one was in bad, very distressed conditions. So after doing that, I literally put some links to help. I found out this property would be worth the $90,000 to $100,000 range. I also called a property management company in the area and asked how much rents would be to find out, because if I can't sell it, then you have to have, if you can't sell, you have to have more than one exit strategy. So you might want to rent. So right now I know I have multiple avenues because at $19,500, if I see this place and the repair budget isn't too much, then I know I can make my money back through rent and have a good cash on cash return. So this was the rental agency underneath. I went and looked up, again, like area, like mobile home park on residential property, rent for $800, $900 a month. So you can see this is shaping up to be a good deal as long as there's no, crazy major repairs going on. All right, so the numbers, I think I did this one backwards, so I might flip back and forth, but what we did was we used one of our properties. So we had a little bit of equity in a single family home. I know for the experienced guys, some people, you know, are like, take your cash out, take your cash out, take your cash out as far as pulling equity out. Sometimes it's good to let one or two of them build because you never know when you need that cash. And when you need it, you just go boom and take it out. The great thing about taking a cash out refinance and pulling the equity out of your home is that it's tax free. So if you go to a bank, they're going to charge you interest. If you pull it from some other sources, you may get taxed. But if you pull it from your house equity, tax-free money. So we did that. We only took what we needed. So it was $48,000 after closing. It was like $2,000 for the closing fees. So don't forget, you're going to have closing fees when you do this. Purchase price was $19,500. The fees for the cash out were $1181. Fees for closing were $1543, which left us with $2224. That left us with a rehab budget of $2577.6. And you always have other expenses. When you're rehabbing a property, you have to have insurance on it just in case one of your contractors gets hurt. You want to have that because if they sue you, you know, you want to have that in place. That's what that's for. That was $89 per month, and the utilities were $120 per month. So this is what we're looking at as we're going and developing this acquisition of this property. So during the acquisition, the timeline to close was long. We had a couple of hurdles. Holidays. We were doing this all on our own. We were running the business on our own, property managing the other properties. So it was a lot. So we learned to delegate with this property. If you're trying to run an entire business by yourself and you feel tired and worn out, find someone to work with you. That could be a bookkeeper, accountant. That could be a property management company to run your properties while you're focusing on growing your business, whatever it may be. On top of that, holidays. We found out around this Christmas, New Year's. So, you know, you send paperwork over, send contracts over, things get delayed because people don't want to get back to you, which is understandable. Just understand things can get in the way. So you want to try to move as fast as possible. My work is crazy. I don't have a lot of leave. I live in North Carolina. This property was in South Carolina. So getting down there to view the property, it was kind of tough at times. Our real estate attorney we worked with said, yes, they were working from mobile home, and then no. So then we had to scramble to find another one to do the closing, which we did pretty quickly. The financing, we were trying to finance the property with a bank because it wasn't detitled. The bank wouldn't finance it. They were on the fence anyway, even if it was detitled. So we chose to do the cash out refi solution. And we have been working with the small bank for a while. I let them know that we needed this done. We had worked with them before. We had a good relationship. And because they're a small bank, they got this cash out refi done from beginning to end in time for closing. It's like 3 weeks, maybe even a little bit less than that. Like they move with the speed of light to get this money there. So I'm very appreciative of that. If you're wondering kind of which banks to start contacting, go with small banks in the neighborhoods or the communities that they serve. They're usually more willing and more lenient to help you out than larger banks. Unless you have like $1 million or $2 million in the bank, then it's not a problem. So the mom was representing the son and daughter who were out of state, which made this very complicated because now you have to email contracts and have them sign it. And then the attorney has to reach out to all three and get information. And there's always questions that pop up. So I think one of the big ones was the social security number. Why do they have to have my social security number? I don't know about this. I don't trust this person. You know, I had to do a lot of communication myself. There was some information with the DMV that was wrong, and the mom needed some help contacting the DMV to get the proper information. So I got her the number that she needed to call and put her in touch with the right person. So I had to squash that one. that one got squashed. During one of the other cleanouts, excuse me, walkthroughs, it was like the second or third walkthrough of the property. She was kind of coming to collect some stuff. We found out the neighbors were stealing electricity, literally had an extension cord from their mobile home all the way across the fence, through a window into the mobile home we were purchasing. So of course we called the police. She asked me to leave. I said, no, I'll stay till the police get here. I don't want you to stay out here. Obviously, there's some kind of criminal element here. And police came and they were rude to the police, these neighbors. So that me staying was big to her, and she was very thankful for that. And I'm glad I stayed too, because you just never know what can happen in those situations. So that helped build the relationship. DMV daughter lost the title, power of attorney. Sorry, I skipped ahead there, but that had to happen. And then the contract process again was lengthy, but we persisted. Communication was key. So I tried to follow up as soon as possible to get this information out, and everything worked out.
Hey, James,
Yes,
can I ask a question?
go
So
ahead.
I'm curious, how did the process of like, I think I can still remember this from last year or 2 years ago, 2021, right?
Right.
Right. So how did the process go with the title? The original one, when I think it was lost by her daughter.
So the daughter lost the title. If for everyone's information, if the mobile home is detitled, then that mobile home is like a car or a boat. It has a title. So the daughter, for some reason, misplaced it. So the daughter had to call the DMV, which she didn't want to. And she was 8 or 9 months pregnant. So she was like, she didn't want to do anything. So I had to call the DMV, get in touch with the right representative, call the mom, give her the DMV's, that representative's number. And then they had to mail some documents back and forth. It took like 2 or 3 weeks to get that lost or replacement title back to the daughter, which required power of attorney also. So there was a lot of stuff going on in that period of time. But again, I didn't just sit back and go, hey, deal with it. I knew this was a pain point. So for me, it was, quick 10-minute call to the DMV, luckily, because we know how the DMV can be. Contact the right person, put those two in touch, boom, get the wheels moving. And then they take, once there's a little momentum and motivation, it usually just hopefully can finish, and they just finished it out on their own and got everything into the attorney on time.
How long did it take?
It took 2 or 3 weeks, and that was like one of the, we're aimed for closing. This is a problem. So now we have to move closing, out another 2 or 3 weeks while this gets done. So that was, again, I was kind of urgent, and I explained to the representative at the DMV, hey, this is the situation. The lady would really like to close. It would really help if you could get this out as soon as possible. Just let her know what she needs to do. If you have any problems, I'll probably be calling you back, or she'll probably be calling you back. Just let me know if there's anything I can do. So I was just trying to be really understanding and helpful. And that worked, and everything just moved pretty fluidly.
Nice. All right.
Single family residence, again, that's what we use for the cash out refi. The rent had to be 1.25%. If you're thinking about taking a loan out to buy something else, usually they'll give you the cash out refi either based on the equity, or they do it based off the rent. That's been like a new thing. So it's called debt service coverage ratio, and the rent has to be 1.25% higher than a month than what they give you, if that makes sense. Small bank closed within 2 weeks from the application. Like I said, it was super fast. So this is a video, and you can see this is the property when we first got it. It was not good. And this had music. I don't know what happened to the music. I'm sorry, I apologize. But we closed. We found one contractor. We could not find a lot of contractors who worked on mobile homes. So like I did with banks, I just started calling everybody I could. My partner started calling like mobile home dealers. I was doing internet searches. We went to our local real estate meetup because we're part of the Rental Investment Association, and we went to the mobile home focus group, and we just started asking questions, and we tried to get all the answers we could as fast as possible to get repair estimates, best practices, possible exit strategies, which we'll see later. And we got a pretty good feel for how much it would cost. So this is the first gentleman we hired. And if you are starting a new venture, or if you don't have one yet, have a great contract for your contractor. It should define how you're going to pay them, how the payment's going to be delivered, what happens if they have to change supplies or run out of supplies. If they don't show up, try to include a timeline for every phase. So if you're, painting the exterior and redoing the roof, there should be a timeline. And if they go past that timeline for anything other than weather, emergency, changing, materials, then we're going to charge you $10, $20 a day. If you get it done early and correctly, we'll give you a bonus. So that's what we try to do. This guy, unfortunately, was moving a little bit slow. He didn't seem as knowledgeable, or he seemed knowledgeable, but the work ethic wasn't there. So we had to fire him. So about 3 weeks into this, he had to go. So don't be afraid to fire your contractor. Do have a good contract in place, because that saved us money. We had our defined draws. We only paid him for the work he did when he was completely finished with the phase. Obviously, they'll try to, pull your chain a little bit, but once you have a contract, you can always put it out and say, hey, this is what we agreed to, okay? And if something happens, you can go to a lawyer, right? Or take him to court and say, it's right here in black and white. So you can get that from your local attorney, or I have one I can send to you. It's pretty detailed, but it's helped us out a lot. It's helped me out personally, getting work done on my house. So I always have that in place. And I think so this was during one of the last phases on the exterior. Obviously, we had to put a new deck on. And funny story about the color. So my partner was in Vegas for a funeral. I was here in North Carolina, and the contractor's at the paint store. He's holding paint cards, and for some reason, I don't know, well, it's an experience, right? I just never done exterior paint before. He sends me the paint cards, and I don't know why I didn't think send me or pick up some samples. I don't think they would give samples at the time because they were so low on paint. This is like, height of COVID, everybody's out of everything. So I was just like, this color was like midnight something. I was thinking this was going to be the darkest blue on earth. No, it's Smurf blue. Like I had no clue it was going to be this bright, but it ended up looking okay. So it actually, I think it looks okay. Some people it's either you love it or you hate it type color, but it worked out. So remember, paint samples on the exterior. See which one you like first, because they do not look like the card for the new guys. So this was the exterior. I don't think this is the finished product yet. That was the back. You can see all the rust on the roof. So we had to get that sealed up. This is towards the end. It's looking a little bit better. This was the interior. You can see it was very dirty inside. We cleaned all that up. That was the bathroom before. A little bit of a wet subfloor. We just cleaned all that up, put some new subfloor down. We did not replace the shower. In mobile homes, you really don't need to replace most of that stuff just because of the niche market. It's expected to have that. This was the master bedroom. That was the kitchen before. And we did have to get new kitchen cabinets, painted the whole exterior, LVP flooring throughout. And I believe that is it. All right, so we talked exit strategies, or mentioned it before. So talking with the Real Estate Association and knowing what we knew, Real Estate Investors Association, and knowing what we knew already from previous classes and education, we could buy and hold, right? So the numbers, you pay $45,000 for the purchase, fees, and rehab. The rent is $875 a month after everything was said and done. So the 1% rule is 1.95. So that's a pretty good chance you're going to make money. So if anybody doesn't know, the 1% rule is if you purchase a property for $100,000, it should at least rent out for 1%, $1,000 a month. Okay. Anything over that 1% usually means there's a high chance of you making money at the end of the day. Now, we did just renovate a mobile home, but mobile homes are prone to break down faster than a normal house because of the way they're built. And the clientele sometimes doesn't take care of houses like they would take care of a regular house. We knew that going in. So this was an option, but there's just a little bit more risk involved with it being a mobile home. Fix and flip, the ARV was about 95 to 100K. So you're looking at around 50K profit, maybe 55. So seller financing, the numbers, you know, we could sell it for 100, we say, excuse me, 70, with the total price, purchase price, $77,000 down for a payment of 10 years. The payments would be $608.33 a month. And then we could add a little bit of interest on that also, so we could be the bank. So when you sell a finance, you're the bank. Somebody puts a certain amount down, they pay you payments over time with interest, and you just sit there and collect the payment. And the great thing about this is that you're not responsible with property. Anything breaks, they fix it. Anything happens, they fix it. And if they default on the payments, you get the property back. Now, what condition that property can be in, I don't know, but you still get that asset back after all these payments and that down payment. So for mobile homes, that is a great strategy because a lot of people in that niche market don't have the funds or maybe not the credit to qualify, but they may have cash to put down for a mobile home since the price point is so low. So with this, we mulled over it and looked at it. We knew we were in a good spot because we only spent around $25,000 on the rehab. The carrying costs were low, and we decided to sell. It would be nice to just have that cash in the bank. We could pay some of the loan off for the cash out refi we just took. The only option, I say hurdle with that is when you flip in less than a year, you pay short-term capital gains tax, which is very, very high. So we decided to offset that with doing some education. So we actually paid to go to the Bigger Pockets conference in San Diego. And the whole trip was paid for with these funds, which will take some of those taxes down a little bit. And we get education and networking out of it, which is a good deal. The mobile home actually ended up selling for $110,000, which was mind-blowing, especially with that color, but it actually did, and we were very happy with the results. So all broke down. There were some hurdles, obviously, with the financing, with finding a lawyer, with help of the family get the information to the lawyer. But if you're just persistent if you're willing to help, and you know, if you just don't give up, you can come up with these kind of numbers. I mean, that was a huge profit for having, you know, $45,000 in the property and selling it for 110. After all the fees, you know, we used the real estate agent to sell it. So of course his fees came out, but still, we really hit a home run with this one. And we actually just purchased, or we're under contract for another one that ends next month. So, and we're planning to do almost the same thing, except we're just going to clean this one out in a week or two. Maybe fix, you know, the flooring, and then that's it. It's going back on the market. Literally very similar to this. So this can happen over and over again for you. And depending on what you're looking for as far as, you know, your numbers, if you do one of these per year, two of these per year, that's a pretty good amount of money. Or you can do one a month. You know, it just depends on what market you're in. So that's just kind of a general overview. That's a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about, but I didn't want to stretch it out too long. Yeah, does anybody have any questions, comments?
No, great overview. That was an awesome deal.
Thank you.
Yeah. So kind of how was that process kind of going from traditional single family to mobile home, and now getting into having another one under contract? Is that kind of a new niche that you all are kind of pivoting to kind of focus on?
I think so. It gave us confidence for sure. And the excuse me, the work that it takes to flip a mobile home is way less, and the cost is way less if you buy it with not, if you buy it and it's just easy to flip, and you can make just as much money in this market because mobile homes have appreciated. Affordable housing is just across the board is just going way up, but mobile homes are one of those niche markets where it's just skyrocketed. I mean, I remember just a couple of years ago, you know, you had $20,000 for a mobile home, you know, 30,000, 30 to 50, you could probably get one brand new. You know, now they're like $100,000. In South Carolina, which has the most mobile homes in the United States, it's hard to find one, you know. So it's, our people have one, they can't find land to put it on. Now, I really haven't done one in a mobile home park.
Okay.
The mobile homes on residential lots, to me, are where it's at, because the value again just goes way up. You're looking at $100,000, $200,000 if you're in the right area. So the one we just under contract for, I think it's 35,000 cash, but this is a double wide, so it's even larger, and the numbers will probably be around the same, probably 100, 120,000, hopefully. So I like it.
That's awesome. So like with this deal, what was kind of your top lesson learned that you kind of took away from this project?
Oh, there were so many. This was our first fix and flip. Like, we had done the construction loans and, you know, fixed up a property before. The contractors contract really helped, because we had to fire 2 contractors, and a lot of contractors don't, and I don't even say contractors, a lot of contractors don't work on mobile homes. So you're going to the handyman space, you know, and that was like, you know, we interviewed 5, and we were like, no, like, you're either asking way too much, or you have an attitude that we don't like, or, you know. So have your contract ready to go, and then be prepared for, like, if it's not D-titled, you might have to go find, you know, you might have to go call the DMV. You probably have to do some little things to go the extra mile, because there's so much documentation that has to go back and forth. If it's not D-titled, that was just totally unexpected. So I think those are the 2 big things. Yeah, I think those are probably the 2 biggest things. That contract to contract really helped us out.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, contractors, being able to manage contractors is definitely an experience, but like you said, it's something that you learn from. And luckily you guys had the contract initially, so it kind of probably saved you from having to go through and issues and yeah, that it just can get messy quick.
Definitely. But yes, it was again, just we had no idea. Like we knew we were in a good spot. We didn't know we were in that good of a spot. And again, this is just know your market. From day one, again, once my realtor said this is what the properties are going for, but since you have this property and these properties are rehab and they're going towards the hundreds, it was like, okay, let's go. And the timeline extended, but as the timeline extended for us getting it done, the property values were still increasing, which again, we kind of, that was a good thing for us. So if we had have just kind of done a hotel, it would have been like maybe 100, but by the time we got it done, it probably increased $10,000. So just because scarcity in the market.
Okay. Now I heard you say kind of, you could do, 1 or 2 of these a year or 10 a month. Kind of where's your vision right now and where you guys are going to kind of end up on the spectrum for the deal flows and kind of how aggressive are you guys looking to be here in 2023?
So we're just looking for 1 a month right now.
Okay.
I have a full-time job. My partner's pretty busy. I love my job. Like, even though I'm stuck, like I don't know if I wanted, if I quit my job tomorrow, I'd be like, I don't know what I can do that's better than this, even with the fact of being stuck. So for me, I'm good with just like a 5-year plan of, okay, let me build it up over 5 years and then look at this thing. If I want to walk away, I can walk away. I'm not trying to like get out in a year and be, real estate's a slow game, right? So,
Right.
So yeah, just taking it day by day, learning how to delegate. Oh my gosh. That was a real, sorry, I'll keep coming up. There's like a whole so many lessons, but we just actually we have a mobile home park under contract. So that's new. And we have no clue what we're doing, but we do have a clue. But it's an unknown venture as far as experience. So we're trying to gain as much experience from others and asking as many questions as possible. It's a good deal from the number standpoint, but we're going to have to do some value add to the property.
Okay.
And that's where, the unknown is. But I think we'll be in a good spot.
For sure. But I think I like that approach with you already knowing, hey, we got some blind spots, we don't know some information, but going out and seeking, figuring it out, and not necessarily running from the challenges, from the problem, but meeting them head on and getting the right information that you need to figure it out. So now salute. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? All right.
Any questions?
Hey, I had a question, Johnny.
Hey, what's going on, Reggie? Shoot, man.
Hey, what's going on? I kind of came in a little late, had the kids at karate, you know how that is. So you probably already said this in your presentation. As far as lenders out there, can you talk about that process a little bit, or if you already have? Like I said, I came in a little bit late. The lending, is there hard money lenders out there, or how can I go about getting funding to get my first mobile home flip?
So it is very difficult to finance a mobile home. There are very few lenders, and usually a property has to be detitled, which means attached to the land. Because this one wasn't detitled, we were not able to finance it through traditional financing. So what we did was we had a home we rented out for years, and it basically had no mortgage. So we just took a cash out refinance and purchased a mobile home and did the rehab. Because again, mobile homes, you can find them for $19,000, $20,000, $30,000 if you have a motivated seller. And usually the rehab isn't that much, especially if you have time to put sweat equity into it. You can do it for 10, 15 grand. So if you can do a cash out refi, if you can do a business line of credit, I mean, if your credit's okay and you have an established business, you can probably go out and get 50K. Now, that interest rate is going to be high, so you want to move, you know, as fast as possible. But again, if you caught the end, you see we made, you know, a good amount of profit from this. We could have paid that off. So you can literally rinse and repeat this as much as possible. If the numbers are right, you can do it. So, and then there's private money lenders. I'm pretty sure if you present this type situation to enough people or talk to enough people, somebody's going to bite. I mean, this is a crazy amount of return for a very small investment.
Gotcha, man. I appreciate you for your help. Yeah. Listen, thank you so much. How can we reach out to you? You know, social media and things of that nature.
So my phone number is 910-354-5811. Again, 910-354-5811. My email, I'm sorry for not having it on the PowerPoint, is invest, the @ symbol, the letter J, the word and, the letter J, Carolina.com. So invest at jnjcarolina.com.
Yep, and you can drop it in the chat too.
Okay, perfect.
So we got one question here. What's the average repair cost for mobile homes?
So that varies, but the thing I like about mobile homes, let me finish. Okay. I just dropped my email and cell phone number in the chat. The thing about mobile homes that I like is there's a point of no return and it happens quickly. So usually you're looking at subfloors, some drywall, and you could replace the roof, but they have a thing called silver seal, and it's like a roll-on wet aluminum seal that you literally just roll on like paint, and that seals the roof. I guess I would compare it to, what's the Flex Seal, right? It's almost like Flex Seal. Yeah. But if like a wall is missing in a mobile home, since it's built together in a factory, that's out. Like you can't repair that. So tops, I mean, if you want to put all the bells and whistles, which you don't have to, because again, the clientele don't really care about like all the bells and whistles, 30 or 40, and that's maybe if you just want to go all new doors, all new fixtures, new cabinets, new vanities. You know, talking to one of our property managers who has a lot of mobile homes, the one I went to get the comps, he was like, we're like, oh, we're gonna replace the shower. He's like, no, don't do that. And I'm like, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't matter. Like the people who want to buy these houses, they don't care about that. You put a nice kitchen in here, backsplash, have some nice floors and fresh paint. That's all you need. Like he's like, I've seen people buy like doors with holes in the door. Our homes with like holes in the doors to the bedrooms, you know, and not care and pay like close to top dollar for it. So you really, you know, you don't have to have all the bells and whistles in there or do all the crazy repairs that you would, you know, with a regular home. And it makes it easier. It's kind of a hidden gem. Now finding those mobile homes on residential lots there's probably not as many of them as like stick-built homes or regular residential homes. So, but there's not as many people in that market either. So, you know, depending on where you're at, again, I can say this for the market I'm in. You can kind of dominate that market if this is what you look for.
Oh, that's awesome. But yeah, I think that's one of the big things that you can save on those construction costs without over delivering and over renovating. We don't have to. That it's just going to increase their return on investment for sure.
Definitely, and also mobile home parts, materials, cabinets are different measurements than regular house. So there's a whole nother market, and they're usually, well, number one, they're smaller. So like you saw the kitchen, like that was a big kitchen for a mobile home. you know, there's not that much cabinetry. It didn't cost us a lot to just buy those, pop them in. Like the backsplash was the thing that made us go that much for a backsplash. But we understand like that's what made, you know, that's what makes the selling point, especially for typically a lady, you know, she'll come in and see the kitchen and the backsplash, and that's a major selling point. The porch is literally the back deck came in a kit. So literally pop it on the back of a truck, back it up, and attach it to the mobile home, make sure it's stable, and that's it. Like it was like $500 for the back porch or something. So you know, if you're trying to build a porch on the back of a house, it's gonna be way, way more than that. I just replaced one of my rental property. It's way, 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 way more than that. So yeah, it's a pretty good niche.
Awesome. Any questions, anybody? Any other questions? No, I think those were great questions, and I'm excited, man. We're gonna have to bring you back after this guys close on this one and
Okay.
go through and execute the business plan on this next one and come back and give us those new lessons learned and the great profit that you guys made off of it.
Definitely.
I think Faye had to drop off. Any other questions? We'll go on one more time. I definitely appreciate it, James. I learned a lot tonight about mobile homes, and you know, it's something to look at now. It's like, hey, when you want to cross, I'm like, okay, let me see if this D title, like, okay, the lot, okay, you know, and kind of venture out and make it happen, because those returns, man, it's hard to find that type of spread right now, especially.
Definitely. And I had no clue, you know, it was just, fortunately I had the lead and, you know, looked into it and I was like, there's something here. Yeah, so I also follow the mobile home closers on Instagram. It's a couple, and I learned a lot just from sitting there scrolling on Instagram through their videos. I had so many just valuable lessons just through watching them about what to replace, what not. You don't have to do this. So again, I just reached out as far as I could to learn as much as I could. And when you see that information repeat from like 3 or 4 sources, then you get, okay, this is
Nice.
solid, you know. So
For sure, for sure. Well, awesome. We see we got one last comment. There's money to be made everywhere. Can't discriminate. Thank you for
100%.
Yep, that's
Oh,
awesome.
and the biggest thing is we improved the community because those neighbors who were stealing saw what was going on and they moved out. So that was one of the best things is, you know, to improve that community. They were the problem neighbors, but because the cops were called out, you know, because they saw the construction workers there, his house was improving, the yard started looking better. They probably had some operations where they didn't want a lot of attention going on, and
Right.
they were like, we need to get out of here. So
Yep, for sure. No, that's all good. I think that's the thing. A lot of people lose sight, us as real estate investors, that we're actually transforming communities and providing a service when we buy
definitely.
these dilapidated properties. So awesome. Well, yeah, definitely, man. Don't be a stranger. Come back and let us know. You know, however we can help you as you continue to go down your journey, and we'll see you here in a few months after this next deal is done.
All right, thank you. Let me see. Are you asking for the name of the IG page that deals with mobile homes? Okay.
Yeah.
I will get it for you. I guess so. Okay, so this is the IG page of the mobile home closers. And then mine is I have to look up mine. I don't even remember half the time. I'm not gonna lie.
All good.
And that is Master Grant.
Awesome. I'm gonna give you a follow as well too.
Thank you.
Well, have a great night, man. And once again, thank you for coming out and just blessing us, man, and sharing your journey and sharing the information.
Oh, thank you. I definitely receive a blessing as well being here. So thank you so much.
All righty. Have a good night, and have a good night, everybody. And we'll see you at the next workshop.
Have a good one.